Welcome back to Theology Over Easy. Let's think about sacraments. There is nothing intrinsic to the shape of a red octagon that in itself causes people to stop. The stop sign might have been a plaid color, or maybe shaped like a parallelogram, or maybe a blue square, and it would have done the trick for us just as well. Stop signs only symbolize stop because we've agreed in our culture that together we should attribute that meaning to a red octagon. The stop sign does not actually participate in the thing it symbolizes. Now, this is not always true for other kinds of symbols, such as a smile, or even better, a kiss. When I kiss my wife goodnight, that act is a powerful symbol of my love for her, but more than just symbolizing my love, the kiss also deepens, affirms, and reinforces our love for each other in a very real way. The kiss is a symbol, but unlike a stop sign, a kiss participates in the thing being symbolized, which is why you can't very easily replace a kiss with something like a fist bump or a rap on the knuckles and have it work the same way. The difference between symbols like a kiss and a stop sign help us get at a very important concept in Christian theology, something called a sacrament. A sacrament is a special act that the church performs in its worship that symbolizes some aspect of the Christian life. The two main sacraments are baptism and Eucharist. Baptism is a symbolic act in and through which a person is initiated into the faith by being soaked with water, either by immersion or pouring or sprinkling, depending on the tradition. Now, this act has a variety of symbolic meanings, depending on tradition. In the Episcopal Church, in the service of baptism in the Book of Common Prayer, there it is described like this. In it we are buried with Christ in his death. By it we share in his resurrection. Through it we are reborn by the Holy Spirit. There's something else baptism symbolizes, and it can be easily overlooked. It symbolizes our adoption into God's family, the church. After someone has been baptized, the whole congregation welcomes them with these words. We receive you into the household of God, confess the faith of Christ crucified, proclaim his resurrection, and share with us in his eternal priesthood. Now, the Eucharist is a symbolic meal that symbolizes Jesus' sacrificial death and glorious resurrection. The bread represents his body, while the wine represents his blood shed for us. When we share the Eucharistic meal together, we symbolize the way in which the death and resurrection of Jesus gives us new spiritual life. It symbolizes how far God was willing to go to restore his human creatures and reconcile them to God's self. Baptism and Eucharist are powerful symbols of our faith, but most Christians would agree they are more than symbols. They are sacraments. And sacraments are symbols that participate in the thing being symbolized. This is a very helpful way of thinking about baptism and Eucharist. They don't just symbolize our life with Jesus, they actually, in some mysterious way, participate in it. Think about it in terms of the difference between a stop sign and a kiss. Both are symbols, but the first is in fact a fairly arbitrary one, whereas the second is irreplaceable. It's a sign that makes the thing being symbolized, our love for someone, real to us. And that is also how sacraments work. When we are baptized or when we participate in the Eucharist, we are symbolizing our faith, yes. But like a kiss from a loved one, these symbols also deepen and strengthen our faith. We couldn't replace baptism with a bungee jump for Jesus, let's say, or the Eucharist with pizza and beer, and have them mean the same things. And that's because these symbols actually participate in the thing that they symbolize. In Anglicanism, we describe this by saying that in the sacraments of baptism and Eucharist, Jesus is made really present to us. Real presence is the language that we use to describe how sacraments participate in the thing that they symbolize. In baptism, Jesus is made really present to us, dwelling in us by the Spirit. And in Eucharist, Jesus becomes really present to nourish us to go out into the world to love and serve the Lord. I'll see you next time on Theology Over Easy.